Good morning students. Welcome back to Sunain Sir's online classes. In this video, I am going to start Human Eye and Colorful World chapter part 1. In this part 1, I am going to explain completely about human eye, and in that first I am going to explain you what is least distance of distinct vision and angle of vision, and next structure of human eye, and finally working of human eye. Least distance of distinct vision. In order to know this, first take a textbook and hold it in your hand. Keep it in front of your eye, very close to eye, and try to read the words. You cannot see the letters clearly. Now try to move the book away from the eye and start reading. Now in this case, after moving some distance, you can see the letters clearly, whereas when you keep the object or when you keep the book very close to the eye, you cannot see the letters clearly. Thus, the minimum distance between eye and object to see the object clearly is called least distance of distinct vision. It means in order to see the object very clearly, you should maintain some minimum distance between object and eye. This minimum distance is called least distance of distinct vision, and its value is 25 centimeters for human eye. Next, angle of vision. Take a long stick and place it in front of eye at some distance. In order to know this, what you need to do is take a long stick and place it in front of your eye at some distance. Now try to observe the stick. Try to observe the whole stick at once. You cannot see the whole stick. It means you cannot see the top and bottom ends of the stick at a time. Now try to move the stick away from the eye, and in this case again try to observe the whole stick. It means try to observe the top and bottom ends of a stick at once. In this case, when you move away from the eye, you can see the top and bottom ends of the stick at once, whereas in the first case you cannot see top and bottom ends of the stick at once without moving the eye. Because the reason for this is, when you keep the stick very close to the eye, the angle made by the light rays coming from the top and bottom ends will be more than 60 degrees, whereas in second case the angle made by the light rays coming from top and bottom ends will be less than 60 degrees. So this 60 degrees is called as angle of vision. Let us see once again. What you need to do is take a long stick and place it in front of eye at some distance. Can you see whole stick at a time? No. Now move the stick far away from you and try to see the stick. In this case, you are able to see the stick, whole stick, that is, you are able to see top and bottom ends when it is away from your eye, because the light rays coming from top and bottom ends will make an angle less than 60 degrees. When these light rays make an angle less than 60 degrees, then you can see the whole object, whereas when these light rays coming from top and bottom ends makes more than 60 degrees, then you cannot see the whole object. That is why this 60 degrees is called as angle of vision. So here, in this way, take a wooden stick and place it in front of your eye. Now initially keep this stick very close to the eye. Now try to observe the whole stick at once without moving the eye. In this case, you cannot see the whole stick because here this top and bottom ends the light rays coming from top and bottom ends will make angle more than 60 degrees. Now if you move it away from the eye at this point, the light rays coming from top and bottom ends will make an angle 60 degrees. Then you can see the top and bottom ends. So this 60 degrees, whatever the object is present in this 60 degrees angle of view, that object only you can see. Beyond this 60 degrees angle of view, you cannot see the object. That is why this 60 degrees is called as angle of vision. Similarly, when you stand in front of a tree and if you observe the tree, you cannot see the whole tree top and bottom ends at once when you are close enough to the tree, because the light rays coming from top and bottom ends will be more than 60 degrees. They will make an angle more than 60 degrees. Whereas when you move far away from the tree, and now if you observe the tree, you can observe the whole tree, that is top and bottom ends at once, because these light rays coming from top and bottom ends will make an angle less than 60 degrees. So in previous case, the angle made by the light rays coming from ends of the stick is very high, that is greater than 60 degrees. Whereas in latter case, the angle made by light rays coming from ends of the stick is less than 60 degrees. This angle, the maximum angle at which we can see the whole object, is called angle of vision, and its value is 60 degrees. Now let us see structure of human eye. Now you might get a doubt that in physics, why should we study human eye? Most of the students will ask, sir, this is a biology topic, why we are studying this biology topic in physics? Because this human eye, we are studying human eye in physics because working of human eye completely depends on physics topic, that is formation of images through lens. The very important part which is present in human eye is lens. Lens is a very important part that forms the image of the object and enables us to see the object clearly. This lens working is completely a physics topic. That is why we are studying this human eye topic in physics. And one more important thing is, our human body is the most complex mechanism created by the God. To be honest, it is a wonder created by the God. Still, there are many scientists who are continuously working to understand the mechanisms of human body. It involves concepts of mathematics like golden ratio, concepts of physics like what is the pressure created by the heart, and lever mechanisms present in our hands and legs, force mechanisms, and also chemistry topics like chemical reactions and exothermic reaction of food which we take. It creates lot of energy after undergoing exothermic reaction, and it will release heat, because of which we are able to do work. Like this human body consists of lot of mechanisms, metabolism, catabolism, and not only biology, it involves mathematics, physics, chemistry, everything. So still there are many scientists who are trying to understand the mechanisms present in our human body. Okay, now let us see human eye. Human eye is one of the most important sense organs. It is nearly spherical in shape. It contains following parts. First one is cornea. Cornea is the outermost protective membrane present in our human eye. It helps to protect our eye from foreign particles. The white color part which we see in our eye is nothing but cornea. Next, aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is a part which is completely filled with liquid, which helps in removing all the dust particles present in our eye, and which helps in cleaning of our eye. Next, iris and pupil. Iris and pupil Iris and pupil helps us to control the amount of light entering human eye. And next, very important part is lens. Lens is responsible for image formation, and it is responsible and it enables us to see the objects. And retina. Retina is a part which receives the information of the image, and it will transmit the information to the brain through receptors and nerve fibers. So in this you can see clearly the outer protective membrane, this white colored part, is nothing but cornea. And next to cornea we will have a aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is completely filled with liquid, and this liquid helps us in cleaning the eye, and it helps us in cleaning the lens. Next, next to cornea we will have a part called iris. This colored part is nothing but iris, and this iris is a very thin membrane called diaphragm, and it will have a small hole. That small hole is nothing but pupil. Iris and pupil combinedly will help us to control the amount of light that is entering the eye, and this iris will be unique for a person. It means iris of one person will not match with the iris of another person, just like our fingerprints. That is why nowadays in mobile phones you can see iris scanner instead of fingerprints. It means it will scan the iris of a person. Through that iris scanner, that mobile gets unlocked, and if you keep in front of another person's eye, that mobile will not be unlocked. That is why nowadays all the mobile phone, all the cellular technologies are using a iris scanner, as it is a unique feature for human eye. It will vary from person to person, and this iris is a very thin membrane. It is a very thin membrane, and it contains a small hole. That small hole is called pupil, and this pupil is completely black in color, because whatever the light entering in this pupil will go inside of the eye, and it will not come outside. It will not reflect any light outside. That is why it appears black in color, because it is not reflecting any light outside. Whatever the light entering the pupil, it will go inside of the eye, and it will fall on the lens. When this light falls on the lens, this lens, as it is a biconvex lens, it will converge the light rays, and this lens will form the image exactly on the retina. Now at this point, whenever image forms on the retina, then this image information is transmitted to the brain through nerve fibers and receptors. Now let us see each part very clearly. First, cornea. The outer portion of eye which act as a protective membrane is called cornea. It is this portion which is visible from the outside. Aqueous humor. Behind cornea, the place which is filled with liquid is called aqueous humor. This liquid helps us in keeping the eye wet and auto cleaning of eye when foreign particles enters. Next, iris and pupil. The muscular diaphragm which is attached to lens is called iris. It is the colored part which we see from the outside. So this colored part is called iris. Here you can see this colored part is called iris. It is a very thin membrane called diaphragm, and it will have a small hole in that iris. There will be a small hole. That hole is called pupil, and that hole will appear black in color because whatever the light entering the pupil, it will go inside and it will not come back. That is why it will appear black in color. And this iris and pupil, they will control the first. Let us see what is pupil. There will be a small hole in iris which is called pupil. The black colored part which we see in our eye is nothing but pupil. It appears black because any light entering the pupil will go inside and there is no chance of light coming back. Iris helps pupil to expand and contract in controlling the amount of light entering eye. It means when there is very bright light, this iris will get contracted and it will decrease the size of the hole. It means it will decrease the size of pupil. As a result, less amount of light enters into the eye. When there is low light, this iris expands and it will enlarge the size of the pupil, and as a result this size of the pupil increases and it will take more amount of light into the eye in order to see the objects clearly. In this way, iris enables pupil to increase and decrease its size, and it will enable pupil to act as a variable aperture. Aperture means hole. Variable aperture means variable hole. It means in very high brightness, pupil size decreases and it will enable the light to go into the eye to a very small extent. It means it will accept very less light to protect the eye. And when there is low light, it will expand, this hole will expand and it will accept more amount of light to see the objects clearly. Now let us come to lens. Lens is the most important part in our eyes that forms the image of the object, which enables us to see the object. Behind iris and pupil, eye contains a very important part which is responsible for image formation, is lens. It will be very clear and transparent as if like purest water. It is hard in the middle and it will be soft in the outer edge. The light from object passes through lens and forms image exactly on retina. The distance between lens and retina is always fixed and it is exactly 2.5 centimeters. It means for eye lens, image distance is always fixed and it is 2.5 centimeters. Image formed on retina is always real and inverted. Remember this point, it is very important point. Image which is formed on retina is always real and inverted image. Retina is a delicate membrane where image formation takes place. It means retina receives light signals which are transferred to brain through receptors called rods and cones. Cones will transmit color and rods will transmit intensity of the light. These signals are transferred to brain through nerve fibers and nerve cells in the form of electrical signals. In the brain, these signals are processed and inverted image will be converted into erect, and as a result we see the object. Now let us see working of human eye, how it is going to work. When an object is placed in front of human eye, light rays coming from the object will first fall on cornea, and after falling on cornea they will pass through cornea, aqueous humor, iris and pupil, and after that finally these light rays will reach lens. After reaching lens, as it is a biconvex lens, this lens will converge the light rays, and it will see that this light rays meet exactly on retina, and it will see that image will form exactly on retina. Since this retina is connected to many nerve fibers, as soon as image forms on the retina, one of the nerve fibers will get activated, just like as it is getting a shock. This nerve fiber will transmit this signal to the brain, and brain will process the information, and it will interpret the object. Let us see once again. So whenever you place an object in front of the eye, light rays will travel from the object, they will fall on cornea, and after falling on cornea these light rays will pass through aqueous humor, iris, pupil, and finally they will fall on lens. After falling on the lens, this lens will converge the light rays, and it will see that these light rays will meet exactly at retina, and it will see that image will form exactly on retina. And as this retina is connected to millions of nerve fibers, as soon as image forms on the retina, any one of these nerve fibers will get activated, as if it is getting a shock. It will transmit this electric shock, it will transmit this light signal in the form of a electrical signal to the brain, and brain will process the information. It will convert inverted image into erect image, and it will interpret what is this object. It will interpret the object. So in this way human eye works. Now here one important point you need to understand is, previously we have seen that if we take a convex lens, and this is focus, this is center of curvature, this is another focus, and this is another center of curvature. Now when we place object away from center of curvature, beyond center of curvature, then image will form between f1 and 2f1. Whereas when we place object between f and 2f, image will form away from 2f1, beyond 2f1. Whereas when we place object at focus, image will form at infinity. It means whenever you change the object distance, here image distance is varying. So whenever you change the object distance, image distance will definitely vary. But in case of eye lens, image distance is always fixed, because whenever image forms only on retina, then it will transmit it to the brain, otherwise it will not transmit it to the brain. That is why in case of eye lens, image distance is always fixed, that is 2.5 centimeters for any type of object distance. It means if we place object near to the eye or away from the eye or anywhere, if we place object, image is always forming on retina only. Image is always forming on retina only. So but according to lens, we know that when object distance varies, image distance also varies. but in this case image distance is not varying, it is fixed. So how is it possible? This is possible by varying the focal length of the lens. In the previous cases we did not vary the focal length, that is why, since focal length is constant, whenever object distance is changing, image distance is changing. Whereas in case of eye lens, whenever object distance changes, eye lens will automatically changes its focal length, and it will see that always image will form on retina only. So whenever it forms on retina only, this signal will be transmitted to the brain, and brain will process the information and it will detect the object. So here what we need to understand is, we need to understand that focal length of the eye lens is not fixed, it is always changing according to the object distance. So according to the object distance, focal length always varies. So this process of varying of focal length, changing the focal length according to the object distance, is called as accommodation of eye. Accommodation of eye. The process of changing of the focal length of eye lens is called accommodation. This is done with the help of ciliary muscles. When we see distant objects, ciliary muscles gets relaxed and increases radius of curvature of the lens, and hence focal length increases. When we see nearer objects, ciliary muscles gets strained and decreases radius of curvature, and hence focal length decreases, such that image always forms only on retina. Only then this image, this signal will be transmitted to the brain through nerve fibers. So maximum focal length. So we know that focal length of the eye lens changes. Now this change in focal length will have some limit, that is, it will have one maximum value and one minimum value. Between that values only, between that maximum and minimum values only, focal length varies, whereas beyond that limit it will not vary. So maximum focal length of the eye lens will be when we see very far object. When we see very far object, focal length will be maximum. So in order to find this, we are going to use convex lens equation. 1 by v plus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. Here image distance is always fixed, that is 2.5, and object distance, when we are seeing very far object, focal length will be maximum. Very far object means object u is equal to infinity. So u is equal to infinity, so 1 by infinity is 0, so 1 by f is equal to 1 by 2.5, and f max is equal to 2.5 centimeters. Now when we see very near objects, ciliary muscles get strained and focal length decreases and it will become minimum. So focal length will be minimum when we see very nearer object. Very nearer object means object placed at 25 centimeters, because this is the least value of distinct vision. Before 25 centimeters if you place, we cannot see the object clearly. So in order to see the object clearly, the nearest distance is 25 centimeters only. So we need to use 1 by v plus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f, convex lens formula, in order to find focal length. So here v is always fixed, image distance is always fixed, that is 2.5 centimeters. Now object distance is, object is placed nearer to the eye, that is least value 25 centimeters. So 1 by 2.5 plus 1 by 25 is equal to 1 by f. If you solve this equation, you will get f is equal to 25 by 11, which is equal to 2.27 centimeters. So focal length of the eye lens changes between 2.25 to 2.5 centimeters. Between these values, focal length of the eye lens changes. So accordingly, it will change the focal length according to the object distance, and it will see that image always forms only on retina. So as the age of the person increases, or because of deficiency of some vitamins, especially vitamin A, so this focal length of some of the persons is unable to, eye lens is unable to change the focal length because of it might be because of age reasons, or it might be because of deficiency of vitamin A, or it might be because of some genes, or it might be any reason. Eye lens, when it is unable to change the focal length, then what happens, image will not form on retina, it will form before retina or after retina. In such cases, when image is not formed on retina, then signals will not be transmitted to the brain properly, then person cannot see the object clearly. Such cases are called as eye defects. So in our next video we are going to see what are the eye defects like myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia. So please wait for next video in order to know about eye defects. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you have a good day.